Good afternoon, you guys. Your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Happy Father's Day to all the Black fathers out all over the country and all over the world, for that matter. And much love to all my subscribers out there. And want to personally say thank you guys for tuning in to my quick live stream of the Game 7 between the Bucks and the Nets. It was a lot of fun, very entertaining. And I really appreciate you guys coming in, and showing a lot of love to my channel. I really do. Now, I wanted to personally talk about this series between the LA Clippers and the Phoenix Suns for the Western Conference Finals. That's going to start at 2 p.m. Central, basically at 2 p.m. Central Time, basically on my time zone. Okay, so this is going to be a very, very interesting series. Now, on the tail of the tape between the two teams, um, the Phoenix Suns have been the well rested team after sweeping the Denver Nuggets. The only minor blemish is this: that Chris Paul is under the COVID-19 protocol, and he's going to be allowed for at least today's game. But he should be back for the remainder of the series. It's only a matter of when. Now, on the other side of the ledger, the Clippers are dealing with a serious injury bug of their own, with Kawhi Leonard, injuring his knee in Game 4 against the Utah Jazz, and he's missed out the last two games in which the Clippers have won. You know, and I have to say, the Clippers right now are the one team that looks very impressive, and they're playing with a lot of heart and a lot of determination right now. And this is their very first trip to the Western Conference Finals in the history of their franchise. So they're in uncharted territory that they've never been in before. But at the same time, both of the stars, both Leonard and George, have been into the conference finals of themselves, and Leonard's a two-time NBA champion, while Chris Paul is seeking for his first NBA championship. But I'll tell you like this: this is going to be a very interesting series because both these teams are very well-rounded offensive teams, and they pretty much use the three-point line efficiently. You know what I mean? With the Clippers, they're a team that you know they basically spread the wealth when it comes to their 3-point shooting. And George is basically playing like the old Paul George from his Indiana days. you know, Pandemic P has pretty much shown to play out PG at this point right now, and he's really doing a great job redeeming himself from last year's disaster in the playoffs when they blew that 3-1 lead against the Denver Nuggets. But the Phoenix Suns right now, in my opinion, they're playing with a lot of momentum. They're well rested right now. Now the issue is going to be, would they be a little bit rusty from all the time off? And consider the fact that they're going to be out without their main leader as their point guard, Chris Paul, for at least today's game, um, is going to be very, very interesting how things will turn out. But the other thing, the biggest question is going to be for the Clippers. Who are going to be the main F factors in the series? Um, you know that that Paul George is going to continue to be consistent in what he does, but to me, the guys on the floor, the role players like the Terrence Manns, the Nicholas Batum's, and the Marcus Morrises, those guys, and Reggie Jackson, those are going to be the guys that's going to determine the outcome of this series. If either one of those role players, play up to their standards and above that, then the Clippers have a really good shot. But right now, the Phoenix Suns, right now, they're a deeper, they're a fresher team, and right now, the way I look at it is that the Phoenix Suns, they're playing inspired basketball right now. I think they'll play inspired basketball despite missing their leader, Kawhi Leonard. But I think the big X factor to me is the play of Mikal Bridges. The Mikal Mikal Bridges, um, the second year swingman uh, from Villanova, and this is the kind of player that is going to determine the outcome of the series because he basically is the type of guy that he can space the floor with his perimeter shooting, and he provides excellent, and provides very good defense. What I mean. The other X factor is going to be also obviously is Devin Booker. This is his first trip to the Western Conference Finals. He's never been in this kind of big stage in his young career thus far. You know, the big thing for me for when it comes to Devin Booker is he has to be consistent. If he can play like he did, in the latter stages of the Denver series and the way he played in the last two games against the LA Lakers, then the Suns are going to be tough to deal with. And in light of what's going on, Mikal Bridges to me, and it's gonna look like it's gonna be the guy that's gonna have to step up to the scoring load. You know, We know that Cameron Payne is going to likely start in his face, and Javon Carter is going to move up to the second string in terms of the rotation. He hasn't Javon Carter has not played much in these playoffs, and the only times he ever got minutes was basically through the blowouts. But now entering to the conference finals, that means Mikal Bridges, who is the starting two guard, sorry, not starting two guard, the starting small forward, he has to take another step into his game to continue. His high leaping on the fast break, solid defense in the passing lane, using his long wingspan, to defend any of the key positions on the floor. You know what I'm saying? The key factor for the Clippers, not just with Paul George himself, is also Terrence Mann. What happened in Game 6 was an unbelievable performance. You know, playing for scoring 39 points in 36 minutes and really doing a great job, spacing the floor, being aggressive on offense, really taking the pressure off of Paul George. I felt like that was very key, in games 5 and 6. And so if Terrence Mann can provide another punch off the bench, behind guys behind stars like Marcus Morris and Reggie Jackson, who respectively has scored 25 and 22 in that critical game 5 to take the 3-2 series leads against the Utah Jazz. Then the Clippers are going to have very much some good advantages in their favor. The second year guard pretty much in the playoffs has only scored 7 points a game, grabbed 3.6 rebounds and 1.6 assists, and shooting 50% from the field. Not too bad numbers, and only shooting 41% from three during the regular season. And he's posted that similar numbers during the playoffs. But right now, how he was able to perform in that game 6. I don't expect him to score 30 plus, but at least provide at least 10 to 20 points a game in that series. He's gonna have to really show that it was not just a one night wonder thing. That this is a kind of consistency thing that's going to really help the Clippers in this series. Now, with that being said, the way I personally look at it is, I think that the Phoenix Suns' advantages are basically inside. I think that we're going to see the best out of DeAndre Ayton, with the advantages that he had, because the thing is, the Phoenix Suns have a deeper bench. So what Monty Williams is going to look at this series is that when Tyronn Lue goes small, they can go small in terms of their lineup themselves. And also, DeAndre Ayton's got to step up in this series and really, pose his will, in the series. He's one of the best big men in the NBA and really has shown himself very well in these playoffs. But he's going to have to take it another level in this series if they're going to have a chance to win. So, if you ask me how I see this series, the way I look at it is, I think the Clippers could get at least 2 victories in the series, but I have the Phoenix Suns winning the series in 6 games, because I just think that the Phoenix Suns, in terms of their defense, their versatility, and their depth, I think it's going to be too much for the Clippers to handle. And even if Kawhi Leonard does return sometime in the series, we don't know when he'll return. If Kawhi Leonard can somehow return and continue to play like he's been playing before the injury, then it might change things a bit. But I'm just not sure if the Clippers are willing to let him return that quick at this point. If let's say they're down 3 games to 1, then they may have to pull the trigger on him very, very quickly. So that's going to be the determining thing. When Kawhi Leonard's going to return, and will he be the effective player that he's been throughout the playoffs? So right now, the way I see it, I have the Phoenix Suns winning the series in 6 games and moving on to the NBA Finals. So that's just my 2 cents, but we're gonna see how it looks in Game 1, and and how this series is gonna look out and look like. And I'll come back later on with either a post video or just a post live stream to talk about how I saw things in Game 1 and how we'll match up the entire series. And also later on, I'll post up a video about my predictions for the Atlanta Hawks versus the Philadelphia 76ers for their game 7 2 as well. So that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.